This is Roei Naor, and as of today, his channel Naor Films only has 474 subscribers, and yet this tiny channel is about to explode, and I'm going to tell you why. And the good news is, if you've got a small YouTube channel, you can also use these techniques so that your channel blows up too. However, there's also one problem that might just be holding Roei's channel back from getting truly massive. But before we talk about that, let's talk about beer, or at least beer advertising. Check this out. Each of these posters is different, and yet there's no question that they're advertising the same brand of beer. And I'll bet you've seen some of these before, and I also bet you can guess the brand. Even if you haven't seen them, you can see that they're all really consistent from poster to poster. They all have, common things, like they all have cute or funny visuals, and there's always a pint of dark beer featured somewhere in the frame. And the beer, yeah, you guessed it, it's Guinness. But what does this have to do with Roei's channel? Consistency, for one thing. Imagine you've never heard of Guinness before, who, by the way, are not sponsoring this video. Even if you've never heard of the brand, you will recognize their style after seeing just a few of these posters. And that's an important thing that Roei's got going for his channel. His thumbnails are like these beer posters. They have a consistent look that tell you they're made by the same person. You might not realize it consciously, but your unconscious mind is going to make the connection. Most of his thumbnails have a warm, moody, cinematic look, and also he's very consistent in the use of color with his thumbnails. Basically, he's sticking with warm orangey browns, an occasional contrasting blue, and that's it. Many of Roei's thumbnails feature his face. Now, you don't have to put your face in your thumbnails, but humans are really good at recognizing and remembering faces. It certainly helps build recognition for your channel, in other words, your brand, if people can recognize you. Now, look at this. Roei sometimes uses two-panel thumbnails, and this style of thumbnail can be really effective, and you can use it in a number of different ways. And one way Roei uses it is to show the finished result on one side and a behind-the-scenes view on the other. Now, if the thumbnail was just a nicely lit photo of Roei, that wouldn't tell you what the video is about. But when he adds that second panel that shows the tools he's using to get the result, we immediately know what to expect from the video. Basically, he's telling a little story in a single thumbnail. To get this, you need to do this. And the viewer is left with a question that they absolutely have to answer for themselves, which is, how do I use the stuff on the right to get the look on the left? And the answer, of course, is by watching his video. Roei's thumbnails are really clear about what the video is about, and that is hugely important. Viewers are going to judge your thumbnail in less than a second. If your thumbnail is too complicated or takes too long to, just mentally process, viewers aren't going to click on it. You need to tell your viewer what to expect in your thumbnail, and it has to be very obvious. And take a look at the text in his thumbnails. Now, he doesn't use text all the time, but when he does, he's using the same font from thumbnail to thumbnail. And this is kind of a subtle detail, but using the same font in all your work helps people recognize that it's yours. It's almost like face recognition. There's a little bit of that going on with fonts. People associate a personality with a font, and when they see that font over and over with the same look of the thumbnail, they start to connect with you. It's funny, Roei's channel is growing so quickly that I was actually worried I wouldn't get this video out in time. It looks like he's gained another 100 subscribers or so since I first found his channel a few weeks ago. Now, he's still way below 1,000 subscribers at the moment, but I predict he'll be there within a few months. And here's another reason why. Roei's doing a great job structuring his videos for maximum engagement. So typically, he'll start a video off by showing the end result. And this is a great hook, because if you want to learn how to light a scene, you immediately get to see how good you can make it look, and you'll want to know how to do that yourself. Now, this is not the only hook you can use for educational videos, of course, but it's a powerful one. And really, even if you're doing, like challenge style videos or vlogs or travel or whatever, previewing something awesome at the beginning can really get your viewers engaged quickly. Now, if you haven't figured it out by now, Roei's channel is all about cinematic lighting. He's very focused on this one topic, and it's a topic that's really popular. I suspect he's going to branch out with related topics besides lighting in the future, but it's smart that he's positioning himself as, the lighting guy right now. As a small channel, you don't want to give your viewers reasons to unsubscribe. So if you try to cover too many unrelated topics at once, people won't know the point of your channel. I actually found Roei's channel because YouTube suggested it to me on the homepage, and I watched one video and I went, wow, this is really cool. But I gotta be honest, I kinda hesitated to subscribe to his channel at first because he only had about 350 subscribers at the time. And this, unfortunately, is a very real problem for small channels. Viewers are reluctant to subscribe to small channels. We're all biased towards popularity. So before subscribing, I went and checked out Roei's channel page. Fortunately, he's got a really consistent channel page and everything looks very professional. Remember, as a small channel owner, you've got to have everything as perfect as you can. Don't give viewers excuses to leave without subscribing. Hey, I've got an idea. I still have some questions about Roei's channel. Why don't we talk to him directly and find out a little bit more about what's going so well for his channel? Hey Roei, how are you? Hey, I am so excited that you can be here. And also, I'm really excited about your channel. It just seems like it's got everything going for it. I think it's gonna blow up soon. So I'm glad you're here.
Hi Matthew, thank you very much for hosting me on your great channel. I'm really excited about it, and also thank you for the compliments.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions for you. I think I've watched every long form video you have on your channel so far, and you're obviously an expert on lighting. So my question for you is, like, how did you get these skills? Did you go to film school? Are you self-taught? Like, how do you know so many different ways to light a scene?
I really appreciate it. Basically, 2 years ago, I decided to take a step forward and start to learn every day, every time I got. I found myself even right after finishing a 10-hour shift, sitting to study for about 6 to 7 hours, which was arts time times, you know. But filmmaking and lighting was still a big passion for me, so I very enjoyed the process. And for a question, I didn't go to any film school or course. I learn better when I do it by myself. All the stuff I learned was from articles, forums, podcasts, friends, and mostly YouTube.
Okay, well that makes sense. So, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel?
So I had a desire to help others from a young age. A few years ago I was a music producer and found myself helping new producers a lot. And I kind of like it did well for me. A few years later I started to learn filmmaking and storytelling and found myself wanting to spread the knowledge I learned to new filmmakers. But in my area there weren't so many filmmakers, and then I thought about to do it bigger, wider. I thought about starting to do videos about the knowledge I learned, and that's what I did.
Okay, so I've noticed that there's a really strong consistency across your channel. Like every video, it has a certain look, you know, it's kind of a moody, dark, cinematic look, which, I mean, you know, makes sense because that's the kind of viewer you're going after. But I've even noticed with the thumbnails all have a very consistent look, a consistent color palette, the same fonts. So my question is that something that you intended from the very start, or is that just something that's sort of organically developed over time?
I think it's kind of my style. I'm doing all the design and the editing by myself and doing some changes over time. I'm always trying to develop it more and more, and there are going to be some changes for the next videos.
All right, so I have one last question. What's next for your YouTube channel? Where are you going after this?
I'm gonna continue with the lighting breakdowns and tutorials, and also will show some new filmmaking and lighting gear from bands that I found good and useful. Also, I'm considering showing other stuff that is related to filmmaking, like color grading, sound, and even pre-production.
Now, I do have one concern with Roei's channel. Most of his videos are really short, like under 4 minutes, even under 3 minutes a lot of the times. But they're not, you know, shorts. They're not vertical format. They're horizontal format. So once he gets monetized, he's going to miss out on some advertising revenue. That's because YouTube doesn't place ads in the middle of videos that are shorter than 8 minutes long. But, you know, besides the advertising thing, are these too short for Roei's viewers? I remember one of my first thoughts after watching a video of his was that it went by so quickly. I could hardly keep up, and it was tempting to watch it again, but I didn't watch it again. So I was a little unsatisfied. Now, I know that Roei is intentionally keeping his videos short because he wants to deliver maximum value to his viewers. And I mean, that's a great attitude, but the question is, do viewers actually want that? I personally would like to spend more time on the topic of each of these videos so I could, you know, really dig into the concepts he's teaching. Also, and This is kind of a big one. We don't really get to know Roei as a person in such a short time frame. Now, let's face it, there are tons of videos about how to do cinematic lighting on YouTube. What keeps people coming back can often be as much about the person making the content and their personality and their character, not just the content itself. Now, Roei might be completely right, which would make me wrong, and his viewers might appreciate how short the videos are, but what if that's actually holding his channel back? I think he should experiment with doing different video lengths to see if longer videos work better. I mean, at least he'll know one way or the other. So what do you think? Are his videos too short? Let me know in the comments. Okay, here are some tips you can take from Roei's channel and apply to your own channel. First off, your thumbnail is the first thing people see. Make sure they're consistent. Try to use similar colors in each one. And definitely, if you're using text, pick just one font and stick with it for both your thumbnails and, any text you put in your videos themselves. Another one, make sure your thumbnails look professional. You want to compare them to other people's thumbnails. And what you can do is you can try using a free service such as thumbnailpreview.com, who also are not sponsoring this video, just to see how your thumbnails compare to others. And if they stick out really bad, that they just look horrible, then you need to up your game. Also, make sure your videos get to the point right away. Tell the viewer what they're gonna get out of your video in like the first 5 seconds or so. Don't use title sequences or drawn out introductions. Don't ramble on at the beginning, just get to it. Here's another one. Be laser focused on a single topic for your channel. I mean, you could always diversify later, but be able to describe yourself and your channel in just a couple of words. Roei's the lighting guy, just like Glam Girl Gabby is the hair and makeup gal. Ken Heron is the drone guy. Sarah Dici is the tech gal, and so on. Don't be the lighting and drones and tech and hair and makeup channel, because that just doesn't make any sense. Okay, here's my prediction. Roei's gonna hit 1,000 subscribers within the next 6 months. 4 months. What do you think? So if your goal is to monetize your channel and have it explode like Roei's is gonna do, then you absolutely need to watch this next video called How to Monetize Your YouTube Channel in 2024. So click right here.